All right, YouTube. Ben Garrison is now in it again, being defended by 4chan and being vocal about the fact that he is. I'm starting to think that Ben Garrison has been swallowing a few red pills. If you don't know who Ben Garrison is, I'll try to explain it in brief, both his work and in the context of what it means for 4chan, especially the politically incorrect page. Ben Garrison is a cartoonist, a political satirist and political cartoonist. He's made cartoons for years against the what he sees as the New World Order agenda, globalism, both the neocons and the liberals. He's no fan of Obama. He attacked Romney as well. He's been a fairly unbiased, decent fellow as far as his political cartoons go. Now, there are several things, though, that happened. Ben Garrison some time ago became a sort of living meme. I think people realized that some of his cartoons appeared similar to those made a number of years ago by A. Wyatt Mann, who actually was associated with Nicholas Schreck under a different name. And A. Wyatt Mann had made cartoons that were like National Socialist cartoons. It was essentially the U.S. is being overrun by this immigrant group and that immigrant group. AIDS is caused by gays, and they're carrying the plague now. It's the gay plague. Stuff like that. This woman, this feminist is atrocious, fat, hideous, and drooling. Black people are uncivilized. It was that standard sort of fare. Now, A. Wyatt Mann actually transitioned and went off to be sort of like, I guess, survivalist pagan. Sort of did a Varg, if you will. But Ben Garrison, because of this sort of living meme exposure, he got really upset at first. He said, essentially, Nazis are hijacking my cartoons. I'm libertarian. I'm traditional, like maybe kind of alt-right conservative, and now the Nazis are after me, and they're trying to fuck with my cartoons. And I think at some point he realized that some of those. And I think he must have hired, I don't know if he hired a PI to do this or whatever, but he realized that some of those changes to his cartoons that were making them seem neo-Nazi-esque, Hitler here, Hitler there, swastikas emblazoned all over them, they were fully defaced, still bearing his signature, which is, he claimed, a breach of copyright. I think he realized that those that doing that weren't the people he was directing his anger at. That is, the cartoons in general were not actually being altered by some random troll on 4chan. They were being altered by people who wanted to attack both the libertarian sort of movements he was associated with, as well as nationalism. I think he must have had like a conversation with Ramsey Paul or some actual nationalist and realized that it has nothing to do with the Uncle Adolf stuff. And now he seems to have come around because he's openly declaring 4chan is defending him and calling his critics crybabies for calling him misogynistic and homophobic and racist for his new cartoon, which compares Melania Trump as a first lady favorably with Michelle Obama. There is a little bit of an indicator there that he's cracking a joke at the Obama's expense about Michelle Obama being a transvestite, transgendered or something, which is funny. I will say this. I don't care about the way Michelle Obama looks. I do, however, care about her character. I think the school lunch thing's been a fiasco. She's completely nuts and doesn't understand that. She's married to Obama, for Christ's sakes, and Obama has not been a good president. I don't care how many Democratic partisans think that he has been. I think a lot of them are just guilt-tripped because he happens to be black, and so they feel like if they go back on their open support of him, that makes them racist too, and it makes them like some Trump nativist or whatever, which isn't the case, but I think that's the way that they're thinking. It's a deeper psychological thing. Whereas Melania Trump, he sees her as graceful and attractive as well. Now, it has nothing to do with race, by the way. I mean, if fucking Ben Carson were the Republican nominee and were saying the things Trump's saying, he'd probably compare the First Lady unfavorably with the potential new first lady as well. I don't think it has to do with race or misogyny or any of this other bullcrap that's trotted out anytime Obama gets satirized or anyone connected with the Democratic Party gets satirized. It's just his way of saying, yeah, Trump's going to make the country great again. Melania Trump's going to make the position of first lady great again. People call, it's funny, the same people claiming that this is sexism have been attacking Melania Trump now for months. She speaks 5 fucking languages. She's not some random dolt that doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. She speaks 5 languages fluently. I think she has like a master's degree in architecture or something. Who gives a fuck that she was a model? It doesn't fucking matter. I'm at a loss to explain how the same person in the same like paragraph can say, oh, this cartoon is horribly sexist, and then at the same time they're like, oh, and Trump's just a miscreant, he doesn't care about Melania, she's just a bimbo model that he happened to want to fuck, and so he married her after getting done with his last 2 wives or something, and he's just a playboy and she's just a gold digger and all this stuff. Who the fuck are you to judge? When people criticize Michelle Obama, I don't see that many people saying, oh, well, she's black, so she's unattractive. No, what they're saying is her policy proposals and her ideas and the fact that she's associated with this retard named Barack Obama, that's what makes her unattractive. I think especially the school lunch stuff. It's like, oh, federalized school lunches. Yeah, nothing could be better. They're already getting like basically prison food that's just prepared slightly better. You know, they used a little bit of salt and pepper on it to make it slightly palatable. You're still getting the mystery meat. You're still getting all this other fucked up shit. They're serving them salads now and they're like all brown. They're practically turning to slime. And it's just an embarrassment. It's a national laughingstock. You compare it to like school lunches in Italy or something. There's like no comparison at all. No, this has nothing to do with fucking sexism or racism. He was a critic of Mitt Romney at the same time. He's criticized Ted Cruz. He criticized Kasich. He makes cartoons about all these figures. It has nothing to do with, oh, Obama's got black skin, so therefore Ben Garrison hates him because he's some racial holy warrior. The concept of Ben Garrison, anyway, all of these media sites currently attacking him, Googled his fucking name, saw the defaced Nazi versions of his cartoons, assumed that he was like a Stormfronter or something, and now are writing these reports about this cartoon as though he was a bona fide member of the American Nazi Party or something. So 4chan and Ben Garrison together, I have to assume somebody coordinated this. This is too good not to have been coordinated. Somebody got the bright idea that if this was done, it would allow them to collectively explode the living shitheads out of the liberal media, and it worked. They're all picking it up. Take a look at what they're saying in the link in the description. Oh, fucking racism, sexism, homophobia. He's a Nazi, and he's backed by Nazis. And that's just not true at all. I mean, it's the most epic trolling, I think, that I've seen in an election cycle that already features some of the grandest political trolling that you can imagine. This takes the cake. Ben Garrison just knocked it out of the park, and all of his foes are making themselves look like absolute doofuses. At the same time, half of 4chan right now, they can't contain their boners. It's just too fucking funny. I'm going on there, onto Politically Correct, looking at these threads about this issue. It's just hilarious. And yeah, there are people editing it further to make it more obviously like Nazi-esque, but the original cartoon, it's right on his Twitter, has nothing to do with that. He attacks Hillary. People call him sexist. He attacks the Obamas. They call him a racist. He attacks the PC multicultural retards. They say, and calls them crybabies, which they are. And people say, oh, well, misogyny, my rights of this insert minority here that supposedly is being disenfranchised by a goddamn political cartoon. It's just too good to ignore. I mean, I couldn't not make a video about this. It would be impossible. I already made like the 5 videos I wanted to make today that I had like sort of queued up. I had the tags filled out. And I have to make this one because at this point, at first it was like, one journalist covers it, and it is kind of funny. It's like, oh, you just got real life trolled. Now it's like they're all being trolled all across the internet. It's like you look up Ben Garrison, look up the news about it. It's just hilarious. There's like a dozen news sites. They're all reporting on this horrible Nazi there that's not even actually a Nazi. But I have to believe he probably has made peace with the fact that he's become kind of a de facto standard bearer to some groups within nationalism. He has. His cartoons often are conspicuously easy to turn into anti-Semitic cartoons, into anti-Jew world order instead of anti-New World Order sort of materials. I think it's a little conspicuous. He had one, famously, he had one where there's like the big government mosquito is siphoning the blood, the money out of the U.S. taxpayer. It looks exactly like the A. Wyatt Mann cartoon where it's a Jewish mosquito, a Jewish parasite, doing the same thing. He had another one where it's like a train. I mean, he had one that was like a sort of shrine, and people were feeding big government and saying, "Oh, I feel so guilty. Here's reparations for whatever," and feeding money into the furnace of big government. It looks literally exactly the same as an A. Wyatt Mann cartoon from many years ago, where there's a sort of giant shrine made out of the head of a black man, and the dude is being told by some Jewish ghost or something, pay more money for slavery reparations. It does look quite similar. I will say that if Ben Garrison ever should see this somehow, it does look a little bit conspicuous. You can see how people made at least a tentative connection between the two. I have to assume he's understanding this. Maybe he's just doing this for attention, but this cartoon is not sexist. It's pointing out Michelle Obama doesn't have sort of the poise and the attitude of what we would consider a traditional first lady. Now, you can take that however you want it. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's black. If she were white, it would be exactly the same to me. She's still a statist. She's still a fucking authoritarian. And she's still married to a miserable son of a bitch president who hasn't done anything right other than open up trade with Cuba, honestly. Yeah, but there you go. Ben Garrison is... I'm sure he's so worried about all of these leftist journos attacking him. I'm sure he's shaking in his boots. He's got like 100,000 people actively like going through his cartoons on a regular basis, laughing it up. They love his material. It's spread all across the web. I'm sure he's worried about a half a dozen half-assed liberal websites that don't even realize he's like a libertarian Trump fan. Yeah, and he has fucking nothing whatsoever. He was a Ron Paul fan. Has nothing whatsoever to do with like, yeah, skinhead race war now material. It's, you know, they call him Zyklon Ben. I won't go through his other nicknames because it would get me flagged off of YouTube. Just look up Zyklon Ben Garrison sometime if you want a really cheap laugh. It is funny. I will admit, you know, racial humor can be hilarious, honestly. But yeah, Ben Garrison, oh my God, he's real life trolling on a totally different level. He took a leaf out of the book of Trumpism and he magnified that tenfold somehow. So congrats to him. Your cartoons are certainly going to see wider circulation after this because the millions of people who can't fucking stand Obama, now they know who Ben Garrison is. Well, for him, it's great. That's about all. Peace out.